As you can see, I am in the car. I'm thinking about investing in like a ring light or something so that I think I might have said this already. I bought a little light, but I need some batteries for it. We'll see how that works. Just so that I can record here more. But hello, what's up? There's a couple of different things I feel like I say the same thing at the beginning of these videos all the time, where there's some things that have been swirling in my mind. I had a pretty synchronistic weekend. I think mainly what I want to talk about for this video is on meditation. I feel like there's so many misconceptions when it comes to meditation. I think that most people hear the word meditation and think, oh, it means that I'm supposed to clear my mind or I'm supposed to sit in silence. And, to be fair, I thought that too. I thought for a very long time I couldn't meditate. When I started meditating, I started off with guided meditations because I had that misconception of, oh, you have to quiet your mind, and I just never felt like I could quiet my mind. So at least with guided meditations, you're thinking about whatever the person is talking about, which is a lot easier to pay attention to. I think that, you could still have trouble not fully paying attention or splitting your attention if you're one of those people. My rising's in Gemini, so I do that sometimes. But what I'm really learning from the more that I dive into Buddhism, I'm really starting to understand meditation more, and I've been able to sit in it better because I now know that meditation isn't necessarily about quieting the mind. It's more about, I guess, shutting down the outside noise so that you can figure out what's going on in your mind. So what I mean by that is, when you sit down and meditate, if you aren't I don't know for other people, but at least for myself, it never starts off as just quiet. There's usually a ton of things in my mind, right? And to meditate is to be able to slow down and kind of observe those thoughts and to let yourself see those thoughts kind of come up and then question them from there. Okay, hold on. I want to be able to talk with my hands. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to move back. One sec. All right. But it's like you're supposed to observe the thought and then kind of go, oh, the thought is there. And then kind of take it from there. And then at some point, you run through all the thoughts. Because I think what a lot of us do when we overthink is that we're overthinking the thought to death. We're analyzing it too much rather than just noticing that the thought is there. And I had a really hard time to wrap my head around this concept because, it's like how do you know the difference between observing a thought and analyzing a thought? And I guess from listening to the Voice of Knowledge last week, I'm starting to get a better sense of this, where analyzing it is when you're trying to kind of pull it apart and really, I don't know, try to solve it or trying to answer to it or trying to understand the thought rather than I guess noticing the thought is more so seeing that thought come up and then just feeling it, if that makes sense. Like, for example, I think a good example I can give is a few years ago when I was in a dance crew and that dance crew was falling apart. I used to overthink the situation that happened. I used to think about why it happened, what could have been said better if these people just talked to each other, or I tried to understand everybody else's point of views. And I think that's something I'm really good at, is really taking other people's perspectives to see where they're all coming from. And my line of thinking is, oh, well, if everybody just gets together and just shares their perspective, and then everybody stops kind of being defensive about their own feelings and realizes that everybody else has feelings of fear and all this stuff, maybe we can all fix it, and then maybe we can get over it, and maybe we can get back to doing what we were doing. But I think what I really needed to do was to just see that this situation was coming up because it hurt, and because I had thought that I found, or at the time I had found, a sense of family in those people, and it felt like that was being taken away from me. And then maybe if I had just sat with that feeling, then it would have felt acknowledged and then left. Yeah, rather than me picking it apart, because it's like, it's kind of like what I said in my last video when I was talking about the difference between living in the past and thinking about the past in a way that serves the present. It's like, looking back at how I dealt with a lot of situations, I definitely did that. I lived in the past rather than just sat with whatever it was that I was feeling, which a lot of the times is fear. You know, we do these things out of fear. We overthink out of fear because that's our ego trying to keep us safe, you know? But the beautiful thing about when you do this and then you allow the emotions to be felt and then they just leave, that's where the silence comes in. And it's like, for me, when I think about meditation, it's never really silence. Again, it's more clearing the mind. So when you allow the noise to kind of die down, then you have space for your intuition to come in and give you messages. And I guess the way to denote whether you're having noisy thoughts or quiet thoughts, or I guess rather whether it's your ego or whether it's your intuition, is your intuition comes in more of as a feeling, maybe in pictures. It's something that, yeah, I don't really know how that's probably the best I can describe it. It's like something that you can either just picture or you just feel, or the way that it comes through isn't like just words, whereas ego is words. It speaks to you in words. I don't know, actually, you know what, because I have had moments where my intuition speaks in clear words as well, or it's like whatever the message is can be translated into words. I don't know. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody, or it seems that a lot of different people receive their messages in different ways. because I know like some people have certain guides and stuff like that. Yeah, but I guess I was thinking, I've been thinking about this because I went to the temple twice the past few days. I did talk about, I think I might have talked about it when I made the video, or at least the first visit, but I went yesterday, and oh man, it's insane when I meditate in the temple. I don't know what it is about that specific space. I mean, it makes sense. It's a sacred space and it's meant for that purpose, but I am able to really feel things there. Like I would think about something and then I could feel my third eye, and then it's like I would move on to another thought and then the feeling disappears. So it's like, okay, I know that this has to do with my intuition, and this is my intuition. My intuition is saying not that. Or it's like, this is something that I can see visually and is yeah, something that is intuitively a part of my vision, and then this other thing is not. And it's cool. It's really cool when you can get to a point where, yeah, like you feel it in your body, or I felt different sensations in my body, and I'm starting to learn what all those sensations mean. Another video I want to make, and maybe I'll touch on it a little bit, is just how useful ChatGPT can be, because I feel like there's a lot. It's a little bit more popular now, you know. When I talk to people, and it's a little less taboo, I guess, to have the paid version. I think a lot of us do, and to an extent, it kind of sucks because sometimes it's slow, and it's like, why is it slow? I'm paying for this. But especially with their tier system, it's like, oh, I mean, if everyone's using it, then what can you do? But that's something I use it for, is I will take things, synchronicities that I notice, and I'll feed it into ChatGPT to get the ancient spiritual meaning, or the psychological meaning, or whatever, the significance of animals, numbers, everything. And the more I do it now, the more when I see them, I don't always need to go to it. So it's like I'm learning the languages of the universe because of ChatGPT. So yeah, so I'm starting to learn like different sensations, like everything in the left, on the left side has to do with receiving, intuition, and spirituality. And I got a lot of movement. I had one thing. I remember I had one thought, and the sensation moved from my third eye down into my eyebrow, and oh, I forgot what that one was about. But I know, and then I've had a couple feelings where it's like I feel on the bridge of my nose, but it's slightly to the left, and that has to do with like spiritual knowing and insight. Oh, I think that's what the eyebrow was. I think that's insight. It's like I'm starting to, my insight is getting stronger, or something like that. But oh, and I remember there's something about the knees. Like the knees have to do with forward movement. It's really cool. I know that there's books on this stuff too, but then, yeah, I guess that's the beauty of having this type of technology, is that you don't have to go through reading a bunch of books to get this information. You can get everything you need straight to the point. But again, it's just how you use it and how you ask questions. And I think that's also where a bunch of people have trouble, is they don't know how to ask specific questions, or how to train ChatGPT to give them the information that they actually need, rather than, I guess, the robotic, generic responses. Because, I mean, I saw that in the beginning. And also, yeah, I know how to take what ChatGPT says and then like if I'm using it for something that I'm writing, like say my website copy, now I know how to take what it says and then to edit it so that I can get it in more of my tone, my voice, and then give it back to ChatGPT so that it remembers this, and then it the next time it generates something for me, it's closer to sounding like me. Yeah, it's just such a great tool. But back to like my main point about meditation, and I guess basically what it is you're really shutting out everything external, and you're going inwards, and you're really reading the signs through yourself. I might have also mentioned this in the video where I had talked about my 5-MeO DMT trip and that meditation that kind of brought me back to it. But I remember having an insight there about the darkness. I've been thinking about darkness again a lot. I've been trying to meditate more in the dark. And I think it came up again because there was a time I was meditating, because I went to the temple. So I went to the temple two days in a row. I went on Sunday and I went on Monday. Today is Tuesday, for reference of this video. And on my Sunday meditation, I remember closing my eyes, and there was a point where I was noticing the colors in front of my eyes, and the colors that are in front of my shut eyes. So you know when you shut your eyes, if you have light in front of you, you can still see a little bit of color depending on how strong the light is. So for this one, it was like orange and stuff, and then I was like, am I actually seeing this, or like, is this my brain generating this, or is this the light that's in front of me? So what I did was I like covered my eyes while they were already closed. So it was like this, and then I did this, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's darker. And yeah, even like paying attention to that stuff when you like start to understand what colors mean too, through like the chakra system and color theory and all that stuff. There's just the universe has so much to offer, or it actually speaks so much, and it's about slowing down and noticing, because we are in a world that teaches us not to pay attention, or to pay attention to the wrong things, or to have just such a short attention span that we don't notice these things. So now that I put meditating more into my routine, I would like to get to a point where I am doing it every day, and I'd like to go into deep meditation way more. And I also would like to not have to go to the temple to get into deep meditation. It's just obviously very much easier there, and probably easier in any other places in the world that have more energetic significance to that. Going outside is a very good thing too, because it's easy to kind of listen in on nature and calm yourself down by that. But it's more, I would say, rather than to say it's about quieting the mind, I think it's more so about slowing down and just raising your attention, raising your awareness, not just to the things outside, or mainly to the things inside of you, but to things outside of you too. Because I'll say that the contrast between these two meditations was the first one, the one on Sunday, there was a lot of people in the temple, so there was actually a lot of noise. And instead of being distracted by it, or I think what happens to a lot of people, especially when you feel like your mind isn't quiet, is they get distracted by whatever it is that is making noise, whether it's their own thoughts, or for myself, there was like a little kid, he was playing Monopoly with one of the temple people. I don't know what to call them. It's like not the monks, but it's like, I don't know, the helpers or the volunteers. I don't know what to call them. I don't know enough yet to know what to call them. But instead of being annoyed and being like, oh, why does this kid have to play Monopoly? Why is he talking so loud? Whatever. It's like I decided to listen to whatever they were saying that I picked up on. So Monopoly is a game about money. It's about how to build wealth, basically, and it's very akin to real life when you really think about it. I used to play Monopoly Go a lot, and I stopped playing the game when I realized, oh shit, like, this is real life and I'm spending my time playing this on my fucking phone. Anyways, because I remember there was something like he was talking about buying or like they were talking about, oh, I want to buy this property or whatever, and the thought, when I was paying attention to that, I was thinking about how I play the game, because how I used to play the game. Because how I used to play the game, I just wanted to buy the most expensive property. So you know the dark blue property that's like last, that you usually pay the most, or when people land on it, they pay the most rent for. It's like I would not buy anything until I bought that property. And then if somebody else bought that property before me, I would just get upset. And I like... And that strategy would work sometimes, where I would get that and then I'd win the game because, yeah, I had the most expensive property. But what I learned is that it's not necessarily about getting the most high properties. It's about building wealth but it's about being smart about the properties you buy and building wealth on top of them. So buying the houses and hotels. And to do that, you need to get the same color. So it's like, maybe it's like you can still buy other properties. Or the way that I play it now is that I save enough money to get the blue properties or whatever, but it's like if I land on some other properties, it's like you budget, and then you know, you set a little money aside, and then you use a certain amount for getting the other properties, and then it's just like, as long as you can get the same color and build the properties on top of it, then it's like you're gonna make more money. And it's like you can make more money that way than to have because maybe I get the higher property, but then if I don't get the other blue one beside it and somebody else gets it, then it's like, I could have other properties that are cheaper, but because I built the houses on them, I in the long run get more money. So basically, to make a long point short, I paid attention to them playing Monopoly, and then I took that as insight. I took that as, okay, I'm supposed to think about being strategic with money, because I have this download that, you know, money's coming in. Wealth will be coming to me. So I need to be strategic about how I use it. And yeah, so all that to say, when you try to meditate, just don't feel like you have to be silent, or, you know, being meditation is like shutting off your mind and, I don't know, going somewhere or whatever. It's like, it's not, it's another thing that's just not, there's no definite answer on how to do it. And I think most of us are just uncomfortable with it because, again, we are trained to have short attention spans. We're trained to be paying, or to, you know, to take in content at a really fast rate. That's why these short form videos like Instagram Reels and TikTok are so popular, because it's easy. It's just easy to go flip, or just go to the next video, go to the next video, go to the next video. But yeah, dude, it fucking kills your brain cells. it kills your brain cells at the end of the day. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why sometimes I feel very opposed to making shorts or to making short content videos. But I'm also realizing that I can be one of the ones that does this for good, you know? I can be one of the ones that puts out content that, yeah, is short form, but it's like, at least I can say something with it, you know? So on my Instagram, I've been posting just little random videos, and they're more like videos of me just big upping myself. Like the one that I put one the other day where I was like, "Oh, Lauren, who you smiling at?" And I was just like, "Me, dog." And that video actually it got a lot of views in a short span of time so far. So it's like, people like that shit, and it's like, it's a very subtle way of being like, yo, love yourself. And yeah, I feel like I'm putting good into the world. So I'm starting to reframe how I see posting content. And I mean, doing these videos has been helping in that regard. Yeah. That's pretty much the message. So now I'll go into a little life update just because, this was a really synchronistic weekend for me. I think I touched a little bit on it in the last video, but yeah, today specifically, I had been contracted for an event that, I was contracted like a month ago for it, and I had gotten the information that the client was YouTube last week, which I was like, oh shit, I'm making YouTube videos. This seems cool. This seems very aligned. And then yesterday morning, I got the full details, and it was for basically a keynote speech type of event that was specifically for YouTube podcasting. And I was like, whoa. Whoa. I'm being paid to be there. And so that event was today, and yeah, it was so insightful, and it's crazy to me because I feel like I barely did anything. Like, it was very easy work that I had to do, which was, yeah, I mean, I don't need to get into that. But at the end of the event, when some of the staff were thanking me for being there and for doing my job, I was like, it's just, it's crazy to me because I'm like, I feel like I barely did anything. I'm being paid a substantial amount an hour to be here, to have done what feels like to me very, very little work. And I got to absorb a lot of information. And honestly, just being in the Google space was great in itself. It's such a well-designed space, and yeah, it was all synchronistic. And I got a couple contacts from that. I'm not sure how much they can help me on my journey, aside from me asking for maybe feedback on my videos and stuff, or not my videos, but maybe just like my thumbnails and stuff. That was like the biggest takeaway that I got, is that the setting doesn't matter so much. The setting and like the equipment doesn't matter so much. It's more so investing into my thumbnails and good titles, and just, I guess, making myself more searchable. And yeah, I think sorry, what I'm gonna start doing is putting these into a podcast playlist, because what I learned is that, I gotta wrap this up soon because this light is gonna go out. What I learned is that when you put it into a podcast playlist, that allows it to be searchable as a podcast, but people can still watch it as a video as well. So it's like, people can either just listen to the audio or they can watch it as a video. And even though most people like to watch it as a video, it's better to do both, because you just become more searchable, and my videos are all long format talking videos, so it would make sense as a podcast. And I think in the beginning, if some of you have been around, I was just posting audio with just a picture, and yeah, it's like it doesn't hurt. I also learned about how, like, you can take like clips and then make those, and it's just like I can take so much from these long ass videos I make and just I can cut it down, and then I can reach a bunch of different audiences. So I'm gonna try some of this shit. I feel like in the beginning, maybe I was just like, I didn't want to overwhelm myself with it. I wanted to make this really easy as possible, and I still do. Again, I'm still not putting too much pressure on it. It's not so much I'm like, oh my god, I want to pop off and I want to make money and stuff. It's like I just want to reach more people, because I do feel like there's some weight to the things that I say. There's definitely things about my perspective that are valuable or can be valuable to other people, and I just want to be able to put myself out there so that people can reach the insight, the messages. Yeah, it has nothing to do with me or, me wanting to be somebody in this world, but it's more so about me wanting to change the course of the way that things are going in this world, because it's one of those things where it's like, even if I can just reach one person, and then that person reaches another person, and it just becomes a ripple effect, it's just like, it's a big thing. It can be a big thing. You can make a difference. Oh wow, this is about to be a motivational speech. It's another crazy insight that I had. I was getting emotional because I was journaling the other day, and I was talking about how people in my external reality are starting to reflect back to me that I have good energy, or that I am somebody that you want to be around. And when I was journaling, I was getting emotional because I realized that I am a person that I would be inspired by, and it's a feeling that is priceless. Like, if somebody was like, would you sell that feeling for $60 million? I'd be like, fuck no. I will stay. I don't mind how I'm living right now, because I have never been so good with myself. It's like, I don't even know the words for this, because the way that I feel about myself is just a feeling that I don't feel like matches anything, because it's like, yeah, I just love who I am, and I love being me, and I love my experience in this world, and it's like, I wouldn't trade that for something monetary. I had another thought, and I think this is where I'm going to end it. But I had a thought about how, when we leave this world, we don't leave with anything that's anything in the physical, right? Like, we don't even leave with our bodies. When we go back up to consciousness, it's like, what do we go with? We go with our memories. We go with our experiences. Like, we come down onto earth to have experiences, or to just experience a physical world. And that's why we're so attached to it. But at the end of the day, you don't take the physical world with you. So when you make everything about the being in the physical world, or like not being in the physical world, but like having material things, it doesn't serve you when you leave. you only get the experiences. So it's like, fill your life with things that give you good experiences. And that made me think about how, you know how they say money doesn't buy happiness, and it's like, no, money doesn't, like, the things you buy with money, yeah, it can make you feel a certain way for a short period of time, but you can also use money to buy experiences. And I think that's what is great about money as a tool. It's something that gives you access to different experiences. And I mean, you can extrapolate that to buying things of quality so you can experience having things of quality. But then again, it's just like, at the end of the day, it's really about the things you feel and the things you experience, and those are the things you take with you. So it's like, you know, you could be dripped out and fucking all the brand designer things that you want, but it's like, if your only purpose for that is so that people can look at you a certain way, and it doesn't give you something that makes you look at you a certain way, then it's not really worth it. That's what I'm trying to say. I think about that because I think about my mom in that sense, because my mom has a house, you know, she has a house, and this house has a lot of things in it, but she doesn't keep her house tidy, you know, she doesn't cherish her house in that way. She doesn't cherish the fact that she has a house. It's like she really takes all the things that she has for granted. And it's like, yeah, if you look at her life, there's not too much to it. And it's like, you know, it's that question of, you know, if you were to die tomorrow, would you say that you lived a happy life? And I think I'm sitting in a point where I'm like, yo, if I died tomorrow, I'd be satisfied, because I reached this point where I have I have the experience of really loving myself and really loving my life. But as far as I know, there's going to be a tomorrow. So for every tomorrow that I get, I know that things can only get better. And that is also crazy to me, is that I've hit this point, and this point is, I feel like, such a goal for most people. There's so many people who live their whole lives. They live to like 80, 90, 100, and they never feel this feeling. And I'm only 30. So yeah, it's like, I can't even imagine what this would feel like in a year when I get to do more things that are aligned with me. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And you watching, if you're not there yet, know that you can get there. And I hope that I give you the inspiration to do your best to get there. Because it's worth it. It's worth it to have alignment in your life. Maybe I'll make a video on that specifically, because fuck, what a great energy, man. Anyways, so before this light goes out, I thank you for listening to me. I hope you found it insightful, and until next time, bye.